rest of them is ready to flip the table. So somebody got to tell everybody. So maybe one of the corners, one of the legs, a 7 or something, gonna start flipping around the bottom of the board to tell y'all all you gotta do is stand up. Talking to the wind, Ezekiel's army.
This might be a little before I roll this next clip. A question for you. Yo, can you hear me, Rod? What the heck? Oh yeah, so that's my question, man. Before we go to roll that, yeah, I can hear you. I can hear
you. Before we finish with the conclusion to that, so
go ahead.
All our prophecies is true to the degree in which the person responsible for executing a part of the plan executes. And if somebody is missing from the equation, then the prophecy, like for instance, Charles Russell predicted the end of the world like 5 times. We still here.
Yeah.
Now, he probably would have been right if he wouldn't have told nobody, they wouldn't have adjusted for it. But when he told people, they adjusted for it, which prevented it from happening.
You're here. Hey, so maybe he was supposed to tell him.
Yeah, so the prophecy is only as accurate as the person carry out their portion of the plan that leads up to the fulfillment of that prophecy. If any one person don't carry their load, it don't be accurate. But most of the time they carry their load, so the prophecy appears to be pretty accurate. And then history repeats itself. So once you see where the gap at, you know where to plug the hole. Pick the weakness in the game, you sew it up.
Hey, now this is my next question. And this might be looked up, but I think it ties into right now. Now, I saw this concert where the rapper NBA Youngboy, man, he had to have at least 70 or 100,000 young guys in there. Like everybody had ski masks on their head. And they might have got in there with the blick. Look like they all had blicks in the car if they ain't have them on them. And then while he was rapping, they all like they was gonna leave there to go smoke somebody. Now with the power that he got, then they got him hit off in Utah with a black hand got one of they got the compounds that they call themselves the Mormons. That's their cover name, right? But what power could he if he was to change? Or what type of control do he got, man? Like to have that many people in there jumping around like that with the ski mask on, ready to go. Like he really dangerous for our, like if he was to turn on them and say, you know what, we finna go, the people that SikApe called enslaved our people, we know that's a bunch of crap now. But he was to turn his energy and say, you know what, they watching him like a hawk, man, because he got too many control over too many young crazy dudes, man. What you think about that, right? Before we click on this next clip.
All it is a tribal faction that's following their leader.
Okay.
Right? The leader don't want to go the conscious route because of Tupac. They don't want to end up like Tupac. So they'll spit that crazy stuff that the industry want them to spit to allow them to get the spotlight on them. But when you talk to them, you'll find out that most of them ain't crazy as they be acting.
That's right.
But sometimes you got to play the fool to catch a sucker. Right? So when you seem dumber than your mark don't feel threatened enough to have to remove you. If he was to turn around right now and start doing the same thing Tupac was doing, or KRS was doing in the 80s, right? He wouldn't last a good 6 months before he ended up like Charlie Kirk.
Some people say they are
because they told you. If you have an industry contract, they tell you that if you don't follow this contract, there's consequences.
That's right.
And the consequences may directly affect you, which means you might die, or somebody close to you in the world gonna think you sacrificed.
Yeah.
It is sacrifice. As in the case of Kanye, he didn't sacrifice his mama like people think. They killed his mama because he was the value they was trying to exploit.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he tried to go and do his Kanye thing, you know how Kanye is. We all know how he is. We've been watching it. You can't go do your Kanye thing. You under this contract.
Right.
Right? I don't care about your contract. I'm finna do my Kanye thing. Right? And as soon as he decided that he was going to disregard that contract,
boom.
Bye-bye Donda. So he becomes so disgruntled, they try to shut him up. Repeals, mental health crisis is publicized to the public, handlers, right?
Right.
Gave him the appearance with the public persona of the rich nigga.
Right.
Right? So he had it all, but he ain't free.
Right.
And what he turned around and told us not too long ago, I don't want none of it if I can't be free.
Go ahead.
I'd rather be free than have all the money. That's what he said after he lost that was it Balenciaga deal? Those rules that were making stuff. Was it Balenciaga?
He made a tweet where he said he lost he was talking about a tweet that he got off of, I can't remember what company that was. It was a multi-billion-dollar deal. He lost it from making a tweet.
That was for the shoes.
Okay.
That's for the shoes, the Yeezys. I think it was, I forgot who Yeezys were going through. I think Reebok. Anyway, he lost those deals because he'd rather be free than be paid to shut the F up while his people were struggling.
Right.
The problem is we don't know how to read Crazy Horse energy. Because if we knew how to read Crazy Horse energy, we would know exactly where Kanye coming from and what he's trying to tell us. We supposed to learn it off Old Dirty Bastard. He was to teach us the Crazy Horse energy, how to read it. Right? It's a couple more of them, but it was the lead Crazy Horse. Crazy Horse is a frequency and it's a cover. It's a protection, a spiritual protection from the tribes. Sitting Bull is a title, right? And it literally refers to the bull who sits on his post. He's sitting down on his post. He figuring he's a bull. He can't be moved.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So all of these titles comes with encoded energies that the tribes can use. If we learn how to read Crazy Horse, it's like ODB say, shame on her for trying to run game on him. And he said, wait a minute, let me tell y'all what I'm talking about so y'all will know what it means. Then he went sober as a preacher to describe it. Yeah. And then he went back to shame on her, right? Crazy Horse.
Yeah.
You got to know when to see. Young Pharaoh went through the Crazy Horse energy phase, where he used the Crazy Horse energy to break from under the pressure of being put under the spotlight. We sat here and watched him, and we all called him crazy, except for me. I laughed. He's crazy, you know exactly what he's doing. Right? Because the Crazy Horse energy is used to get information past the enemy, in the enemy face. right?
Okay, I get it.
So, the example, one day he was telling the story, and they were saying he was crazy during this time. And when he telling the story, he looked back to his baby mama and say, "Am I lying?" And she was like, "Nope, that happened." That's Crazy Horse bouncing it off a sane individual that was present. That's verifying that he ain't as crazy as we think he is.
Mm-hmm.
Because the story that he's telling actually happened, but he's telling it in an animated way that makes him sound unhinged.
Hmm.
But the girl verified the whole story sitting right next to him. Crazy Horse energy. Once you know how to read.
Donald Trump was on there. I think it was the Virginia governor. They made a lot of arrests on child trafficking rings. They didn't bust so many, even in my state, but in Virginia, they just recently bust like it was in the thousands of children that were being trafficked just in Virginia.
And a lot of that is not reaching public exposure nationally. It's local exposure to a lot of those cases. And you had like 7 different sting operations in Florida alone that netted at least 100 and some perpetrators and untold amount of children, right? Then you had one in Texas.
Yeah.
There's a couple more states, California, they had a big trafficking ring bust out there too. I think it was one in Arizona as well. But see, I told y'all, they got us under the misdirection that there's animosity between the Russians and the Americans. It's not. Right? It's just that now the earth is split into the emerging regime, which is what you've seen going on in China. You've seen those heads of state over there with the President Xi of China.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then at the same time, Trump was meeting with the European powers in D.C.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's the old world and the new world both showing you, because it was like 2 or 3 days after the Chinese military parade that had these world leaders over there that the internet shift happened. Everybody just switched over to the new system.
Yeah.
Like, over different people. Right. So what they telling you, everything they're just telling you everything that I've been saying over the last 5 years that people call me crazy for, and they make these videos that update you, and everything that I was saying is in them videos.
Yeah.
Right. But sometimes they don't believe it when it comes from somebody that look like us, because the people behind the scenes look like us and they always lying to us.
Yeah.
We don't know who to trust. So you got to come up with an independent third party. Now they're using AI because AI can download the information from multiple sources faster than a regular person.
Yeah.
Right? And then they can tell the story. It's all coming out because you is learning to control how AI respond to their questions in order to get the truth out.
Uh-huh.
And once they learn how to do that, it's over with, because it's telling them everything that Crazy Rod Hayes and Young L have been saying.
Hey, Rod, Lady C said, go ahead. You was done.
Yeah, so we've been saying this 4-5 years, and now AI is telling people stuff that we said that we was called crazy for.
That's right. That's right. Lady C say, what can she find these videos? Where did you get the videos, the clips from, right?
This YouTube. These came off of a Facebook page, and somebody shared them with.
Somebody said so DC is closed, and they're closing all the stores down here in Georgia. I know DC being then already closed down.
Yeah, most of the state buildings ain't been functional since 2018 or 2019.
Yeah.
They all been closed down. They started to dismantle the Federal Reserve building.
Yeah.
I got that report. I got that report a couple days ago. You know, so we watching it, but a lot of people ain't understanding. In the video before that, it mentioned the tunnels under the Vatican and the 650 planes that was flying from the Vatican. And then they mentioned that it was another site. The other site was the intelligence site. The gold was at the Vatican. And they had more gold in Switzerland. And you see how he went into the Swiss bank over in Basel, then to another part of Switzerland, Zurich. Right? That's where the central banks was funneling their money and storing it up. That's why they said they found storages of wealth, of stolen wealth. They stole it from us. Right? Nobody's supposed to be poor.
It's like you say, like now that you see that Africa cut all of the vampires off from stealing from their country, they building up their country. Look like it, like to the future now. They got the internet started. It's pretty much like as they got left to themselves, they growing like they ain't nothing. But once we get to left to ourselves, it'll be the same over here. We'll rebuild and build it up to the future. You know, over here.
The good thing about over here is the majority of the people over here, no matter what they look like, they want to see prosperity over here. They came here to experience prosperity.
Right.
So if they see us building our cities up like Dubai, everybody gonna want to help.
Right.
Right. And this is gonna tear down a lot of the divide and conquer barriers that they gave us. Skin color, political affiliation, who your favorite rapper. Ain't none of that stuff gonna matter because we're gonna be too busy building for the future and understanding the need to build a promising future for the children.
Right.
Right. So it's just gonna be a whole different environment.
Some people they also said in that video that certain countries that they can escape to, that these guys that's gonna be a part of the mass arrest, that these countries are denying, saying, "No, we don't want your money. You can't come over here and hide." So what they gonna run and hide to if the countries that you can go to get immunity or whatever, they ain't gonna have nowhere to hide these guys.
It was a song back in the 60s that said, "Nowhere to run to, baby. Nowhere to hide." Ain't nowhere they can go because you got to remember the whole earth is under satellite surveillance.
Go ahead.
If you leave, if you got your cell phone with you, you got a tracker. Right? So you can't take your cell phone, you can't take your laptop because you got a tracker. You can't drive your car because you got a tracker. So we don't be knowing this stuff. They be using it all the time in criminal investigations, but they don't want you to know that they use it.
Right, especially FBI. High-ranking agents. All right, we'll roll that.
And now we got jealous girlfriends that put air tags in our bags and in our pockets, and the government follow us through the air tag that she put on us, and she don't even know she working for them. HBF effect.
Wow.
But this go back to what I told y'all a long time ago. The Federal Reserve was actually shut down in 2017 with a cease and desist order for printing U.S. currency. Now they were supposed to roll out the new currency. I think that's the next video. The new currency was stalled by Congress. So they had to use the BRICS nations to dam the dollar back to the United States because they're gonna have to either reduce the inflation rate because the currency is diminishing, or they're gonna hyperinflate, right? Because the currency is losing value. So it got two ways they can play it. Start relieving the pressure off the dollar by backing back prices, or over saturate the value of the dollar by artificial means, which creates an increase in prices, right? So the deep state, the ones who was in control, that's fighting on their way out, they're not gonna stop fighting until they gone. So you're gonna see activated sleeper cells and all that until they're done, right? And they gotta find a Jason Bourne sleeper, because the Jason Bourne sleeper is the only one that can peacefully wake up the rest of the sleepers so they don't follow the protocol. And the government got a good idea of where that agent is, or they might even have him in custody. But the purpose is to activate or to awaken the sleeper cells without them being activated to commit atrocious acts. Right? So they've been running tribunals in Gitmo. And remember, they just opened up Alligator Alcatraz